Hi, everyone. So, yeah, it's the new year, and hope everyone's ready for something special. It's going to be something else this year. A lot of people around me are asking about intention. What is my intention? What is their intention? How should they think about this year? I mean, it looks like it could be a disaster, it could be chaotic, it could be anything. I think intention is important. If we don't set some kind of intention, then our life just drifts around. And the people often say to me, but, how can you possibly set even an intention? Nobody knows really what's going on. It looks so chaotic. And it's true. It's not easy to set an intention, but it's good to think about intention. Because, I mean, there are different ways of meeting the world as from day to day. We can see there's a battleground, and for a lot of people, the world is a battleground. You can go into withdrawal and just step back and don't want to participate in anything, don't want to get involved in anything, don't even want to think about anything. That's kind of resignation. Not really helpful. And it's certainly withdrawing, but, if that's what the way you think about the world, that the world's just a haphazard place and, nothing to do, just survive. Well, those are all basically animal instincts. Survival is animal instincts, and animals survive either by fight-flight, because that works on our adrenals and creates stress of all kinds, and then the world becomes really difficult to cope. So withdrawal is certainly one way to go, and fight is another way to go. But in fight, everyone gets hurt. Withdrawal, no one gets hurt except yourself. So, and it's not really a nice place to see somebody in withdrawal, and I've seen a lot of people in withdrawal. So we need to take some care, and the most fascinating to me is that quantum science is helping me to understand how to think about the world and going forward. Now, I'm not going to talk about quantum science except to talk about some ideas which I've learned from quantum science. Because quantum science is fascinating. It's the reason why it's so powerful is because, in fact, it's more accurate than the old Newtonian science. So how can quantum science help us to set an intention? It's certainly more accurate, but it also tells us that the world is a little bit chaotic. And that's the thing. There's no question about it that quantum scientists say that it's impossible to know everything. You've got to know both the wave properties and the particle properties of light at the same time. It's impossible to know everything, and it's impossible to be 100% sure of outcomes. That's quantum science. The fact that they can send humans to the moon is miraculous, because no one actually knows 100% sure of outcomes, but we're dealing with matter bodies and especially big bodies like spaceships and humans, and it makes it a little bit predictable, but nevertheless one really doesn't know from day to day. One of the fathers of quantum science, Max Planck, and I've often quoted him, who said that I've been studying matter all my life, and I can tell you one thing, there's no such thing as matter. There's only energy information. Now, that's quite amazing, because what he's basically saying is that matter is a kind of illusion. An illusion, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means that you misunderstand what you're seeing. So something that a mirage, for example, I mean, it's there, but it's not what you think it is. You can walk right through a mirage. So the strange thing about life is that objects are not quite what you think they are. They're not exactly what you think they are. They are energy information, and energy information is not exactly matter. I mean, if you break matter apart, all you come to is atoms and then particles, which appear and disappear. So bodies appearing and disappearing. So quantum scientists are saying that it's impossible to ever know exactly this moment. We can't know we can't know everything. We can't know, if we know one thing, we don't know what's happening on the other side. So that's often called chaos theory. But nevertheless, at the same time, quantum scientists are pointing out to the incredible order out there in the universe. Everything has to be so precise. You can't have the sun suddenly deciding to change its orbit, for example. It doesn't work like that. So there are laws that seem to govern the way things happen. And while humans sometimes think they don't belong to the universe and we function like we don't, nevertheless, there is this astonishing underlying order. Our heart goes on pumping, maintain the temperature of the body, the pH of the body, digesting the food, feeding every cell, trillions of cells, every has to be fed, the toxins have to be taken out. Enormously complex. As I keep pointing out, what biochemistry discovers is in a way an illusion. It's not exactly what you think it is. It's only part of the story. As Max Planck says, there's no such thing as matter. It's all energy information. But he did say one other thing that often is forgotten about, and that is, he said that there is only energy information, but behind the energy information, there has to be an intelligence. He's basically saying that this energy information couldn't function without some kind of intelligence. Now, human beings like to take various attitudes towards that intelligence. Some of them call it God, and then they have faith in God, and their intention can be present within that faith, and that makes it very powerful for them if they can have that faith and that intention. But actually, a lot of quantum scientists even have the same faith, because they believe that there is an intelligence operating, and that intelligence has created such precision in the way things operate that there is basically an underlying order. Changes, and quantum science points out that nothing is permanent. There's a constant turnover. Particles are appearing and disappearing at an astonishing speed. So while it looks so solid, your body, the fact is that it's on one level it's appearing and disappearing. Everything is moving, everything is flowing, and yet there's an underlying order. So that makes intention for me a lot easier. I recognize that I'm not in charge, but nevertheless, quantum science says the observer makes a difference to outcome. So the mere act of observation changes what's happening. I am a co-creator in my reality. Now that's important when it comes, for me anyway, when it comes to intention, because it means that my intention is important. My intention is participating in something much bigger, something that's very intelligent out there, and is giving me feedback also. So there is a flow over here, and for me, intention has to do with being present in the world, knowing that I can't know everything, that in fact what I know is very, very small, and yet the mere act of observing changes what is observed, that in some strange way I participate in the outcome. So I can have an intention, and I do have an intention for myself and for the world out there, having an intention that is the greatest intention that I can possibly think of. And for me, those intentions have to do with being attentive to the moment, watching the signs. How is this great intelligence operating in my life? That's what's exciting for me. So, yeah, don't resign. You are quantum scientists say you are a co-creator. You are, the observer is connected to what is being observed. So if you don't like what's being observed, change the way you're thinking about that. Your thinking, your feeling, your knowing, your willpower, we have all these words that help us to participate. It's not just subjective. Don't be disempowered by science. It says only the objective world is real. That's the old science. The new science says, no way. we are participating in this creative process. So let's make 2025 a beautiful, creative, loving space to be in. And the more people that think that way, the more that intention will participate in the greater intention that's out there. And the greater intention, I believe, is love. So, yeah, have a good year.